Hi everyone, my name is Claudia and this video is going to be a part of the CES series. CES stands for Claudia's Emotional Spectrum Chart, which is the tool I created to explain how I believe our thoughts and our emotions are the beating hearts to every reality. Stay tuned because this video is going to be on influence, influencers, and EPPs. One of the many purposes of the CESC series is to show just how we are now realizing that we did not create mathematics but discovered them. We did not create emotions, they created us. So, what is an emotion? I believe emotions are reactions that are triggered by internal and external stimuli that are received by the body's senses, as shown here in the emotional perception category within the forces section. In the mind that is conscious, emotional energy can develop levels of awareness. I believe emotions exist as energy and are processed and transmitted through us, what some may refer to as expressing through us. As emotions express through us and with us processing and transmitting emotions through various avenues like behavior, thought, this expression then forms influence. Influence that can be internal, manifesting as perspective, and or external, manifesting as reality. This same influence can incentivize and or control behavior represented by the physical perception category. And can have varying ranges of impact on thought, represented by the intellectual categories. So if you watch any of my other videos, you may have noticed or come to realize that this chart is showing how influence flows through a person and a body of people. This is because influence is powered by emotions. Without emotions, influence would cease to exist. Influence is what shapes a person or body of people. In other words, emotions are what shape a person or body of people. How do you influence your children? Through emotion. How do you influence anyone? By having them feel something. CESC theories define influence as stimulating positive and or negative emotional transfer. It defines an influencer as a person, place, or thing that has the ability to stimulate within a person and or generate within a body of people either positive or negative emotional transfer. Keep in mind that an influencer, unlike those in an established position of power, do not have influence in all three of the main categories, which include emotional, physical, and intellectual. And again, this is what forms a person's perspective, which then helps shape their reality. What separates an influencer from a person in an established position of power is a person or a body of people that are in an established position of power have influence in individual and societal forces and movers, and specifically those that are noted at the very top and very bottom of the emotional, physical, and intellectual categories. Here's a definition to a person in an established position of power according to Claudia's Emotional Spectrum Chart. This could be a person or a body of people who can directly influence, control, and impact all or most of the individual societal forces and movers at the very top and very bottom of Claudia's Emotional Spectrum Chart when compared to other people or bodies of people within that environment. This includes law and economics in the physical category, creation, discovery, omission, concealment, destruction in the emotional category, along with functional and applicable interpretation and communication in the intellectual perception category. What separates an EPP from an influencer is the EPP's impactful trilateral levels of influence held within the three main categories: emotional, physical, and intellectual, which directly impacts and/or controls that society's reality. This means influence in areas of science, which is seen throughout the chart. All of the categories include science. Politics, industry, entertainment, mainstream media. That includes areas such as the news, and of course, the biggie, education. The intellectual category is what forms the evolving or regressing person or body of people, which is why the intellectual category is so impactful on a person or body of people. Now here's a quote from President Nixon during the first presidential debate in 1960. Keep in mind, this is one of the topics both candidates, both President Nixon and President Kennedy, agreed upon. I think it will be bad for the teaching profession once you put the responsibility on the federal government for paying a portion of the teacher's salary. Your local community and state are not going to meet the responsibility as much as they should. But I do not believe the way to get more salaries for teachers is to have the federal government get in with a massive program. My objection here is not the cost in dollars. My objection here is the potential cost in control and eventual freedom for the American people by giving the federal government power over education, and that is the greatest power a government can have. By giving the federal government power over education, and that is the greatest power the government can have. This quote shows me that both candidates understood the power of influence. In this particular case, in the area of education, which is represented by the intellectual category. Intellectual emotional energy has the highest probability to impact perspective for extended lengths of time. But this understanding was established well before the 1960s. Here's a quote from Frederick Douglass. I now understood what had been to me a most perplexing difficulty, to wit, the white man's power to enslave the black man. It was a grand achievement, and I prized it highly. From that moment, I understood the pathway from slavery to freedom. Question to you is, do you know of any one person or group that has influence in all three of these categories in this day and age? Emotional, physical, intellectual. If there is such a person or body of people that exists today, is it possible to form a sort of matrix with this level of influence? Let me know what you think in the description box below. I would love to read your thoughts. Thank you for watching and for your support. And remember, mind your emotions.